I know some of you still have a job. I understand, but we are designing the life, right? Designing our ideal life. So how many of us just want to buy back our time? We say this all the time in business. We're always saying most people want two things. You want time freedom and financial freedom. There's some form of that is the goal for the majority of people. I'm talking like 95% of people, if not more. Some form of financial freedom, doing having the money to do whatever you need to do. So money is not an option, it's not an issue. Your family can get the health care they need, your kids can go whatever school they need to. You're not always checking the bank account for things. There's some form of financial freedom people want, and then some form of time freedom, meaning your time is yours. You can do with it as you please, whatever you want. You can make life happen. This is what it means to design a life we don't need a break from. This is what it means. So what's the message for today is you got to learn how to run your life on a schedule. Practice this so you can get to the place where now this is habit. This is how you run your life. You're not the multi-million dollars, CEO just yet, but the only way we get there is if we practice the habits of those people. Success leaves clues. You hear me say it all the time. Success leaves clues. So you have to make sure you are doing the same things that successful people do so you can get their same result. That's the key. If you're not doing those things, it's likely you won't get to that place. So some of the things that he was talking about in there are just scheduling things. You heard some things that are probably real familiar to you, things you've heard on these calls a bunch, right? Number one, right? I wrote some things down. Got to have a morning routine. He didn't really go into his morning routine, but understanding if he's up at 4 a.m., right? He has a morning routine. He has something that he's doing first. He has something that he's doing right after that. It's scheduled the night before. These are just reminders as we go into a brand new month, y'all. Like something's got to change. Some of you think you're just too busy to do anything. Well, that just means you're not taking ownership of your life. You're not taking ownership of your 24 hours. You're not taking ownership of your calendar. So maybe we have to start to practice some of these things and put these things in place, right? So first thing, morning routine, plan the night before. Before you go to bed, you should know what you're doing in the morning. You should know the exact workouts you're doing. You should know exactly what time you're getting up, what your first move is, what your second move is, what your third move is. You should already know it. And so that morning routine is important. Then when you get into your workday, again, some of you aren't necessarily fully on the entrepreneur side, but I know in order to design your ideal life, you have to control all of your life. It's the only way. There's no one that has a job, right? That like can control all of the aspects of their life. So whether it's now or whether it's in 5 years or 3 years or 2 years or 8 years, it doesn't matter. At some point to design your ideal life, you're going to have to own your business. Like you're going to have to be able to make that happen. So when you are in that space and on your days off, this is a great time to practice it. Do the hardest thing first. That's what he said. Do the hardest thing, the thing that will make all the other dominoes fall. Do that first. In a business like ours, that's like phone calls or reaching out to people, right? It's the hardest thing first, but it's the thing where all the rest of the dominoes fall. If you set up enough appointments in a business like ours, what happens? You get appointments, you get things scheduled, you start to make money, you have the ability to do all the other things if you just do that. But some of us wait until the end of the day or the last parts of the day to do the hardest thing. It becomes a habit that you start doing the hard things first. It becomes a habit that you start. I think Seth Godin wrote the book "Eat That Frog" or something like that. But like basically, it's like he said the big rocks, right? If you attack the big rocks first, the biggest things, it's going to create a pattern and a habit for you of getting the hardest things done first, and the rest of your day gets easy. So make that a practice. These are all tips. These are all success leaves clues, right? So he then says, right, he goes into his morning of creative output. He said what he doesn't do is start checking emails and start scrolling and start doing things. Normally we have the most energy, the most creative energy in the early part of the day. That's normally when we have most of our creative energy. And he said something towards the end where he's like, his day is set up for energy. You got to catch that. His day is set up to continue to keep his energy high. We do things that take our energy away. We have to be very mindful of where we're getting energy and then what's taking our energy away, so that by the time the end of the night comes, we have zero energy to do anything. We give our family the crumbs, the leftovers, right? They don't get any of our energy. We have to design our life, design our day, so that these are the things that we focus on. So we talked about that creative output. And again, plan the night before. No white space on the calendar. First and foremost, I hope you're all using a calendar. Again, whether you're at a job, not at a job, don't matter. You need to run your life off of a calendar. Everyone gets the same 24 hours in a day. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. If you do not look at your calendar the night before, the day of, I'm checking my calendar 4, 5, 6 times a day to see what I have today, what's coming up, what I need to plan for. My life is lived on a calendar. I wouldn't know what day it is. I wouldn't know where to be. I wouldn't know anything if I didn't look at my calendar. So you've got to get disciplined at putting things on a calendar. And then what did he say? He said, there's no white space. So if you look at your Google Calendar, it's all white. If you don't put anything in it, it's all white. If you look at your Apple Calendar or whatever, I prefer Google Calendar, but it's all white space. Then what you do is you start blocking time. He said, even in little 15-minute intervals. Do you think of your life in that way? Do you think of your life in 15-minute intervals? Do you think of your life in hour intervals? This is how we maximize our time. This is how we design our ideal life. You can have all of it. You can have everything you want. Your family can get all the time. You can have time to focus on your health, focus on your business, do fun things, all of it, if you schedule it in. If you don't schedule it in, it's likely you won't be able to do half the things you can do, because we all have little pockets where time slips away from us, where we waste time, where we're not intentional about the time that we're given. And so what does he say? You got to start blocking out some stuff. You got to start blocking out time. You got to start saying, hey, this is family time. Hey, this is time to work out. Hey, this is time for email. This is time for social media. This is time for this. Like, you just block out so there's no white spaces. So you always know what you should be doing during that time. It might seem tedious at like upfront, but on the back end, when now you control your day and you can get in everything you want to do and you have time to read and focus on your health and all the stuff, you're going to feel so good at the end of every day, because now you got in all the things that you wanted to do, not the things that you felt like you were forced to do, the things that you wanted to do, and you can make it all happen. Again, he talked about batch work, right? So that goes to a book like Habit Stacking. If you've ever read Atomic Habits, right? It's talking about habit stacking. If he's already going to be in a hot tub, he's going to read. If he's already going to be on a walk or running, he's going to be listening to something good. Here was the message. I was going to share this in the book, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, because while he's doing meetings, he's also focused on his health. Huge unlock right there, especially for people that sit at a desk. Especially for people that don't get a chance to get out. I've been seeing this on TikTok all the time. These standing walking machines where people are doing their meetings and just walking on this like little mini treadmill type of thing. He said he's riding a bike, right, while doing a Zoom call or while doing a call with the team, and he's habit stacking. If I have to go do this, if I have to sit here on this meeting, then at least let me move my body. At least let me focus on my health. That's something I wanted you to see is an important part of being successful. It says it in 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. It says the world class makes exercise a priority. Like, outside of all the other things that we have, outside of all the stuff you do, are you making exercise a priority in your life? I think this conversation is important also because September's Life Insurance Awareness Month. If you follow us anywhere, you're going to see us talking a lot about this, talking a lot about life insurance and how it's the foundation. But one of the things I was talking to my marketing manager about is we need to tie in some health conversations into this life insurance conversation. Some of you are in business with us, but if you're not, here's something to note. The reason why most people won't be able to get life insurance or protect their family properly is going to be because of their health. That's it. It's not, people think it's because they don't have the money or whatever they think. Like, it's going to literally be because we're unhealthy. And life insurance only deals with age and health. So the thing that will block you from being able to pass down money, build generational wealth potentially for your family is your health. It's not your finance, it's your health that will be the cause. So we have to start being focused on making exercise a priority, making movement of our body a priority. And that CEO, right, Dan was just explaining how he incorporates that, into his daily life. Here's what it says in the book. It says, amateurs tend to believe exercise is only for the young and that it has little to do with success in the business world. Studies show this to be false. In the last 10 years, many companies have started corporate exercise programs and constructed workout facilities on company premises. They know regular exercise is the single most significant aspect of good health, and good employee health goes right to the bottom line. Champions have known this for years. They tend to invest at least an hour per day, every day, in some form of physical activity. They usually select an activity they really enjoy to ensure it will become a habit. Amateurs spend more time watching their favorite sports heroes exercise than do exercising themselves. The cost of this inactive lifestyle is substantial, both physically and mentally. Professional performers know a sound mind and a sound body are one and the same, and they treat their physical activity with the same intensity and priority as they do their work. They schedule daily exercise and approach it with the same vigor as a meeting with a key customer. The biggest distinction between amateurs and pros in this area is the importance they place on adhering to their exercise routine. Amateurs see exercise as a chore, pros see it as a necessity for world-class performance. This is like, he didn't say it in those words, but the amount of exercise that he was prioritizing throughout his day showed that he knows this is a necessity. This is a necessity, like it says in here. This cost of an inactive lifestyle is substantial, both physically and mentally. As your body breaks down, your mind is breaking down. These things are linked. So we have to be mindful. If we're going to go off and design our ideal life, exercise, movement of your body has got to be a priority, a high priority. Again, the thesis, we can schedule everything in that we want. We have the same 24 hours. I talked about this, I think, on Friday or maybe Wednesday. You have a choice of your life. You get to choose. God's given us choice, right? So you get to choose where your time goes. Again, I understand if you have a job and that block of time, you maybe can't choose all of the things, but there are some things you can choose in that workday. There's some things you can choose to do during your break time, or there are some things you can choose to do if you sit at a desk or whatever the case. There's choice. So how much are we making exercise a priority? Number one. Number two, how much are we working off of a schedule, living our life off of a schedule? Many of us, like I said in the beginning, want some form of time freedom and financial freedom. Both of those things take incredible amounts of discipline with your time and your finances. With your time, like if you want time freedom, you have to be very disciplined with your time. Coming from an entrepreneur, from a person that hasn't had a job in a decade, when your 24 hours are your 24 hours, you need the ultimate amount of discipline, because that's your responsibility now. You can't blame it on anybody or anything. When your 24 hours are your 24 hours, most people don't know how to handle that. So start now. Start with your schedule. Start looking at your calendar daily. Start planning your day the night before. Start looking at your days in 15-minute intervals, in 30-minute intervals to find out, where am I missing this time? Design your day towards energy, giving yourself energy. Make this exercise a priority. These are the little tweaks, ladies and gentlemen, that help us design a life we don't need a break from. That's what we got to do. It's a brand new month. You want to continue to design this life. You want to continue to have, right, all the things that you want to make happen from a time freedom, financial freedom standpoint. You got to start doing these small things and incorporating them in your day so they become habits. They become habits. Think about your health differently. Think about your finances differently. Think about your time a bit differently, and you're going to get a different result. But this is what we got to go do, y'all. All right? I love you guys. I want y'all to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. You got to go make this happen. But you got to change the little habits. We got to be more focused on our schedule. Got to be more focused on our time. We got to make sure that we're not wasting time. We got to make sure we're optimizing our day, right, for the things that we want to make happen. And I'm here to help you with it. Continue to go out and do something that scares you. Push yourself out of your comfort zone today. We'll be back on Wednesday with another message. All right. Take care, y'all. Have a good one.